about is Cloud Animator, like I mentioned, and we are going to have a Q&A session at the very end of this webinar. So if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we go through or anything like that, you can go ahead and feel free to put that in the questions panel. There's a little questions or Q&A section window that pops up in the Zoom webinar panel there, in the Q&A section there, and put your questions in there, and we'll answer those at the very end. And we're also going to be, if we have any links or anything we want to provide for the duration of this webinar, we'll be putting those in the chat window as well. Okay, we're mainly going to be focused on the Q&A window though, so keep in mind that just put your questions in there. And we are going to be providing a special discount for you guys. We're going to be sending out a survey at the end of this webinar. So if you have any feedback that you want to give to us, make sure you fill out that survey for us. We're going to email that to you right after the webinar, and we'll send that back to you. And if you fill that out for us, you'll get a 20% discount for our advanced business version of the Cloud Animator program. Okay, so I think that about covers it. What we're going to do is we're going to introduce Cameron now, but he seems to be muted right now, so maybe we can unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, now we can hear him. Okay, good. All right.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, Cameron, just a little introduction for Cameron here. His first time hosting a webinar. We're going to be, so thanks for being with us there, Cameron. We're going to be introducing him real quick. He's working currently on starting a mobile game company. He's a freelance animator, 3D artist at creating animated media, indie game designer, and most recently he animated a Childish Gambino deep web tour vlog. So he's has quite a bit of experience in the animation field. So I think for now, Cameron, I'll just let you take it away, and we'll go from there.
All right, cool. Thank you, Kai. And it's an honor working with you. I've been a Reallusion member ever since the iPhone 5 days, so I've seen a ton of your tutorial videos. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cloud Animator webinar. I'll be the instructor. Again, my name is Cameron Hines. And a brief little origin story, if you will, between me and Cloud Animator. Around 2 years ago, it was around Christmas time, and Cloud Animator was in beta mode. And it was about 4 days right before Christmas, and I had no gifts for my family members. And at the time, I had around 13 family members plus a few friends I wanted to give some gifts to. And of course, if you wait till the last minute, you're not going to have any really reasonable or meaningful gifts. So I went to my last resort, which was to buy some Christmas cards and some gift cards. And I really didn't want to do that because I did that last year, and it felt kind of cheesy. And I mean, I wanted to give something meaningful to the people I love during Christmas time. So with Cloud Animator, I realized that I can do that. I could create personal messages, and I can add interaction with that. So with my mother, I made a Game of Thrones Christmas card, and I put it as a personal message. And at the end, I added a link to Amazon. So I gave her an Amazon gift card, and straight from her phone, she could view the video and then click on the button, take her to Amazon, and go shopping. And from that, I realized that Cloud Animator had a great potential for me as far as just an animator, even for side business. So if you are a content creator, or if your business deals with social media, with Facebook ads, or if you're trying to build your brand or anything, as far as public speaking, I highly recommend you use this new Reallusion software, Cloud Animator. Now, in this webinar, I'm going to talk about the user interface of this software. I'm going to talk about how to add motion effect, how you can add links to interact with your audience. You can add links to websites, links to your email, even to your phone. So that's another way you can interact with your audience. And I'm going to show you how you can share your projects. Now, with a video demo, I created an interactive flyer for Atlanta Comic-Con, which is coming this summer. And here's the video. It took me around, I want to say 2 to 3 days off and on to complete this, and check it out. Okay, guys, so that was an interactive flyer I created for Atlanta Comic Con. And as you can see in the video, towards the end, you can see the date, the time, the location, and the address. Right here, I added some buttons, some links. So if I click on this button, if I click on this button, you can purchase some tickets straight from the Atlanta Comic Con website. And if you're new to the Atlanta area and you don't know where the Georgia World Congress Center is at, you can click on a map location button, and I'll link that to Google Maps. From there, you can type in your direction and you can go to the Atlanta Comic Con. So I'm going to show you how I created this project for Atlanta Comic Con. So in the main page on Cloud Animator's website, you want to click on Start Now. From here, it's going to take you to My Project page. As you can see, it gives you options to create a new project, or you can continue on working on a project that you've recently been working on. And to do that, you just want to select on the Edit button. And once I do that, it's going to take you to your project. Now, if you're familiar with any animation software or any system, you will know that there are typically 4 window panels. So right here, you have the top window, the nav bar. To the right, you have the toolbar, the toolbox, and you have the content manager. Right here at the bottom, you have the timeline. And on the left, you have the scenes. So starting back at the top nav, you can name your project. Right now, it's named Webinar Template. From here, you can create a new project. And while working on your project, I highly recommend you save as often as you can. A quick shortcut is Control S, or you can just click on that button. You can click on this button. And right here, you can name your project again, and you can save your thumbnail. Right now, I have it saved to the first scene. If I don't want this scene, I can have it saved to, let's say, scene 4, and I can have that as my thumbnail. I can save as, save, and I can publish it. I'll get more into that later. Let's exit out this. Still on the top nav, to the right, you have 4 different languages you can choose from. In the middle is the About button. Right here, the Help button. If you click on this, it'll take you to the Learning Center. From here, I'm pretty sure a lot of people who's on this webinar are not really familiar with Cloud Animator. So if you need any question answered, I would highly recommend you go to this page. And if you have a basic or a content manager or editing or even an advanced question, you can go to this Learning Center page and it'll have all the answers to your questions, as well as tutorials for you guys. Plenty of tutorials. So I highly recommend you check this out. But if you're like me and you have to create 13 projects within 4 days, I recommend you go to the second option, which is tutorial. And it's a 5 quick minute tutorial on how to use Cloud Animator. And just let that play.
Hello, and welcome to this quick getting started video for the new Cloud Animator service. So
that's a real quick and easy tutorial. The next is the member button. You can see your member profile, the projects. You can go to your account and your subscription. Going towards the bottom, you see the toolbox. Now, unlike Cloud Animator, because they group each individual tool into different categories, and you have 4 different sections. The first one is project and scenes. Right now, I'm in a project and I'm inside the template folder. Now, when I created those 13 projects for Christmas, I definitely used some of the pre-made templates that Cloud Animator provides, and they're even creating some new ones, so you can check that out. And if you keep scrolling down, you can see more folders of different training, resume, and even a photo show. I highly recommend if you are into Instagram or your job demands you to take photos, you can use this and you can show your work. It's a great template. Now, when you select a project, you'll open the project, and on the left side, you'll see all the scenes that's inside your project. Right now, we have a total of 4 different scenes in this project. And if I hover over each scene, you can see a little sub menu, and it gives you more options. Right now, the first option, I can duplicate this scene if I want it, or I can save this scene and save it for another project. To do that, just click on this, or the shortcut is Control F. And if you want more scenes, you can just click on the scene button. And there's more scenes you can choose from the template, as well as some more organized scenes you can use. Now back on the scenes, you can edit each scene. To do that, press Control E or select the settings button. And on the right, on the content manager side, you can see the settings for the scene. Right now, you can name your scene. Right now, this first scene is called main page. All right, the next is auto next page. Now, when you saw in the video for the Atlanta Comic-Con video, each scene went by one. But if I was given a speech or a keynote and I just want to focus on one scene, I would select none, and I can continue on the scene for however long I want, and then I can just press the next or previous button to go to the next scene. Now again, the next scene will automatically go to the next scene. If you want one scene to jump, so right now 1 will go to 2. If we want 1 to go to scene 4, I can just click on the drop-down menu and select scene 4, and scene 1 will automatically go to scene 4. And if I have multiple projects and I want one scene to jump to another project, I can select this. Now what you want to do is go to the project link and you want to copy and paste the link. And then you want to copy and paste it right here into the project text box. And you have another option. You can, so if you're promoting a product or you have a business and you're creating a landing page and you want to show a quick little video made by Cloud Animator, and then you want that scene. So let's say after the fourth scene, I could type in any website, so Amazon.com, and then after the 4th scene, it'll go to that page. So if you have a website or if you have a business and you have a website and you want to link it to your website, you can do it that way. Now each scene you're allowed only 30 seconds. So with a typical TV commercial, it's normally 30 seconds and you can create a lot of content within 30 seconds. Right now we're on the first scene, and this scene time is at 6.1 seconds. Before I go to the scene time, let me talk about the thumbnail. The thumbnail is pretty straightforward. And guys, if you're familiar with Google Docs or Google Slides, you already have a head start on using Cloud Animator. So if I want to select this as my thumbnail right now, I can capture this. So I want to select on current time and capture. And you can see that's my new thumbnail. Let me scroll through the timeline. Let me get this back. So I want to capture this. And now it's back to that. So that'll be my thumbnail. Now to the timeline, right now it's activated. Let me deactivate this timeline. Right now I have 6.1 seconds in this 30-second scene. And you can tell the time that you're using. The time that you're using is on the right from the marker, and the time that you're not using is grayed out and it will be on the right. So the time that you're using will be on the left, and the time you're not using will be on the right. If you want to zoom in, just go to the zoom in bar. You can press the plus button or you can press the minus button, but you'll have to repeatedly press each button. I just recommend you just scroll to the left and to the right, and you can zoom in and zoom out. As well as you can add a background color to each scene. So if I scroll over to the beginning, right now it's at yellow. If I want to change it to red, I'll just click on this button. I can change the color to the background. I can change my background color to whatever color that I want. Let's go back to yellow. That's a little brief run through of the scenes. Now, let's add some text, a shape, and an image. Right now, I want to add a new scene. So right now, I can click on this plus button. And right under scene 1 will be a new scene. And let's add some text. So to create some text, you can press T, or you can press this button. So let me press T, and then you'll see text right here. Now, anything that's inside your project, if you click on it, you'll have a sub-menu. From here, again, if you're familiar with Google Docs, it's basically the same. You can duplicate this text, you can delete it, you can bring it forward, you can bring it back, and you can send it all the way back, and you can swap it for an image or a shape. Now, when I select this image, right here on the Content Manager, you can see the text settings. So whatever you select, either if you select a scene or you select an object that's inside the stage, you can edit that particular object. Now with text, you have 4 different options. The first one is position, or it's transform, and you can change the position, and you can see the numbers change. You can change the scale of the text. You can rotate it by typing in a number, or you can use this handle to rotate it. Get it back to 0. And as well as you can change the opacity. You can use easing, but it's grayed out. To activate that, you need to activate the timeline, so let's do that. Now, if I activate the timeline, I can create a keyframe. To do that, I can press this, or a shortcut is V. If I move this text right here, I just created a keyframe. However, let me show you this. Let me delete this keyframe. And let's say I didn't like this position, but I don't want to create a keyframe. I would just deactivate the timeline, and I can move around the text without creating a keyframe. Right? So let me activate this. Move this text right here. That creates a keyframe. If I scroll through with the timeline to, let's say, about 3 seconds, and move this here, if you're familiar with any animation software, you have 2 keyframes. You have animation. So if I scroll back, you see the animation. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Now, if you want to edit your text, you can select the text settings right here. And from here, you can add text inside this text box. So, animators. If I press enter, you can space that. Let me bring this over. And again, you can change the font. Cloud Animator provides you with a ton of fonts you can use. So let's use this. It's a cool font. You can change the font size, as well as make it bold, italicized. You can align the text. Let me move this. So if I want this text aligned to the center, now it's aligned to the center. You can add line spacing. Now, I believe the default is at 10, but of course you can decrease the line spacing. You can see it overlap, or you can increase the line spacing. Let's put that at 10. You can add a text shadow to the text. You can change the color to red. You can blur it, and you can offset the text shadow. Pretty straightforward. Now let's add an image. Now with this Atlanta Comic-Con video that I created, even though Atlanta is a text, it was really a logo, so it was an image. So I basically saved that image. If you have a custom image that you want to upload, you can simply upload that, and it will be inside your customs folder. So right now I'm going to select the Atlanta image and just click on that. You can click and drag, and there you go. And right now the timeline is activated. I don't want to create a keyframe, so I'm going to deactivate the timeline. And then I can move this image and scale it without creating a keyframe. Okay, so that's the image. Now let's add a shape. If you select on shape, you have a ton of different folders you can choose from. So you have buttons, callouts, icons, and shapes. Now here's a tip. If I want to use a shape, and if I double click on this folder, see what happens. The first object will be selected. So it's very sensitive. So let's delete this. So let's say if I want to use a different shape, just click on the shape folder once, and then you'll be able to go into the shapes folder. Let's add that star back. So I can simply just click on that star, and now I have the shape, I have an image, and I have some text. And let's add something new. With Cloud Animator, you can add a GIF animation. So if we go to image, there's different, you can use human. Let me scroll up. So the first one is black and white. So again, if you're giving a keynote presentation and you want some animation with a figure, right now this is a silhouette. If you want to see the animation, you can hover over each one and you can preview that animation. You can have a color version of that black and white GIF. You can have creatures, so animals, and you can add humans. You can have more. If you have Crazy Talk Animator 3, you can definitely import custom GIFs that you created into Cloud Animator. Let's add this one. Okay, cool. Let's move this around. Now let's give these objects some motion. Now if I select on hello, the text, hello Cloud Animators, let me activate the timeline. I can move this up. And with the timeline, everything is set on at the beginning, so 0 seconds. Right now, this is Cloud Animator, and it has 2 keyframes, so it's going to move from one end to another. And with this image of Atlanta, let's add some motion effects. So to add a motion effect, you want to click on the star with the little mini star, and it says this is the motion effect button. And I like to call these the 3 E's: the entrance, the emphasis, and the exit, which is basically the beginning, the middle, and the end. So to add an entrance animation, again, if you want an animation, you can just hover over each one, and you can preview each animation. So let's use let's keep it simple. Let's do zoom. If you select animation, you have some more options you can customize that animation with. The first is the time. So right now it's set to fast, and you can see the motion effect bar right here. Right now it's set to fast, so that lasts about 1 second. If I want this to be medium, you can see the motion effect time increase. So it'll be a minute, 1.5 seconds. And you can change the zoom origin. So right now it's set to center. If I wanted to zoom from the left, you can use left. Or if you want to be more accurate, you can make it lower left corner. There you go. So if you want to add an emphasis, you have to scroll through the timeline away from the motion effect, and then you'll be able to use the emphasis. If you're at the beginning, obviously it's grayed out, you won't be able to use it. So just make sure you're away from the motion effect. And from here, you can select an animation. So again, if you hover over each one, you can preview the animation. Let's use pulse. Select that, and again, you'll get some more options. But with the emphasis, you'll have only really 1 or 2 options. Again, you can do the time. So right now it's set to fast. You can change that to medium. And you can see the motion effect increase, and you can loop it. You can loop it 1 to 3 times, or you can have it automatic. So let me zoom out and show you this. If I select automatic, it will go towards the end, leaving you space for an exit animation. However, if I want this to loop all the way towards the end, I'll select keep dynamic, and there you go. It'll go all the way towards the end. Let me uncheck this and let it loop, let's say 2 times. Now let's add an exit motion effect. I select exit, and again, you have a ton of different motions you can choose from. Let's enlarge 3. Okay. Now that was fast with this animation. So I want to change the speed. Now certain different animations, you can have 2 to 3 different options. Right now we have direction, time, and zoom origin. And this is with enlarge 3. But what if I had, let's say, rolling 3? Then you only have the time to customize that particular animation. So just be aware of the animation that you're selecting, because that will give you more options. So again, you can have that. You can have the direction go from bottom to top, top to bottom, left to right to left. Select that. Again, that was pretty fast, so let me slow this down. So let's do medium. You can see that increase. And then right to left. There you go. Now, if you want to ease these keyframes, you want to go to transform, and you want to select easing. And there's a ton of different easings you can select from. You just check those out, just play with those. And then once You're done with that, you can offset each particular object that's on your stage. So right now, let's offset this Atlanta, and let's move this down. Okay, so to preview this animation right now that we have so far, which is just the text in Atlanta, you can scroll with the timeline, or you can use the play control. Let me move this down. You can press play or space for a shortcut. You can stop it, or you can preview this scene by pressing control space. Now, if I press control space, I'll preview this whole project starting from scene 2, and it'll go from 3 to 4, and so on. It won't show scene 1 because it's above the highlighted scene that we're on. If I want to preview this whole project, I'll have to select the first scene and then press control space or press this button. So right now, if I want to press play, there you go, do a little emphasis motion, then have an exit motion. There you go. All right. Let's go back to the beginning. Now let's animate this star. We don't need a lot of it. Let's give it a motion effect. So entrance, let's go crazy. Let's do world zoom 2. And again, you can customize the animation. And let's have it loop. So I want to go to bounce. I like this motion. And I want this to loop all the way and then have it in. So I'll just press keep dynamic and let that loop. Now with this GIF animation, if I scroll through, let me start at the beginning. If I scroll through, you can see the animation, right? However, if I scroll and I want to see a motion effect, you won't see that motion effect. So just keep that in mind. If you want to preview an animation, you can preview a keyframe. You preview this with the text. You can preview a GIF animation, an image, but you won't be able to preview the motion effect. In order to preview this, you'll have to press play. Okay, let's go to the next set on the toolbox. Right now we have sound, create a script, and create a video. Okay, cool. Let's move this down. And if I want to create a sound, so for instance, if I want a coin sound effect to happen when the star object shows, I want to first let's zoom to be more accurate. Select the beginning of the star. Go to the sound, click on that button. And you can choose from a ton of different sound samples that Cloud Animator provides. Let's scroll up. I think coin 5 sounds like Mario, so let's use that one. So if I select this, and again, if you select anything or add a text, a shape, or an image, everything will be added towards the bottom of your timeline. And to keep track of everything that's inside your timeline, right here, you have the track menu list. So again, guys, if you're familiar with iClone or you're familiar with Crazy Talk Animator 3, you'll have these 3 options. So right now, if I select the first one, everything that's inside this scene is visible because it's checked. If I don't want to see, let's say, the Atlanta and talk, so these 2, I can uncheck these and it'll go away from the timeline. And if I want to see everything, I just select this button and then I can see everything that's inside the timeline. And if I just want to see the star, I'll click on the star, then I'll click on object related track, and then only the star and the sound will be on the timeline. So let's leave it like this for right now. And if I want to preview the sound, let's just press stop and you'll be able to hear the sound and the star come at the same time. So if I press play, there you go. Now I saw that this GIF animation, this guy, he opened his mouth. So we can add a script to that. So let's select, let's see everything that's inside this timeline. So show the track. I'm gonna move the timeline up a little bit. So this is, oops, don't forget to leave this unchecked. So everything is selected. And I want him to say the word Atlanta. So with him selected, I want to go to create script. I'll select that. It gives you, Cloud Animator gives you a lot of different languages you can choose from. So there's a ton of languages you can use. And you can choose the voice. You can either have a male or female voice. You can change the pitch and the speed. And as well, you want to add your script. So just select the box. And let's type in Atlanta. And you can preview this by pressing listen.
Atlanta.
Okay, that's cool. So if you like that, just press apply. Now, again, if you add anything to your project, it'll go to the bottom. So just keep that in mind. So right now, the scripts is right here. However, his mouth doesn't open until right here. So let me move this text to right about, let me do it a little bit before you say it, okay. And then we can press stop and preview this.
Atlanta.
Okay, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now let's add some links to these objects. Now we can add a link to a text, an image, and a shape. Let's add an image, let's add a link to this text. Have the text selected. Now to add a link, again, you'll have 4 different options, or you'll have 3 different options right here if you on your particular, if you select an object. So right now we're on text, and we can add a link by selecting the link button. From here, you can have it linked to a different scene. So let's say right now we're on scene 2. If I want this to go back to link to scene 1, so this could be a back button. We can select scene and have this text go to the first scene, or scene 3, or scene 5. Or if we want this text to go to a website, we can select the website button, and then you can copy and paste your URL right here. So right now it's set to reallusion.com. We can leave it like that. You can add an email. So if I wanted to present a project or promote a product, and I want some email just to collect data for my business, I can add my email address right here. I can add a subject, so webinar. And then you can have some pre-made content, pre-made text right here, or you can just delete this, click away, and then if somebody wants to email you, let's say, let's edit this, oops. Again, if you select the text button, it'll add a text. Let me delete this. If you want to edit your text, just go to the text setting and just type in email, right? Oops. And then if I want if I want this text to be a link to my email, I can have that. So it's set to my email, webinar. So if I'm playing this video, oops, remember the timeline is activated, so I create a keyframe. Just keep that in mind. If you want to move an object, make sure the timeline is deactivated. So let's delete that keyframe. And again, the thing that I love about Cloud Animator is you can add your phone and you can add text. So for me, with the Christmas gifts, when it was my turn to give out Christmas gifts, I did it in a nice and cool way. I sent everything straight through my phone to everybody. So if you want to add a phone link to a project, you basically just want to type in your phone number, and you need to add +1 at the beginning every time. All right. And the same with text, similar to phone and email, just add in your add in your phone number, and don't forget +1 at the beginning. And then you can have a pre-made message. Now you can't text from your laptop or I guess a tablet, but you can from your phone. So just keep that in mind. If you're sending this out through email, you probably don't want to have the phone and text options. You may want to have a website or your email option. But if you're sending a project or your work through a text, then you can have all the options, including phone and text message. So right now we'll have this set to, let's have this set to a website. So that's Reallusion. And with this star, let's add another link to a scene. We'll have that go to scene 5. All right, now let's preview this right quick. So we can press Control Space, or we can press the preview button, and it'll take you to another tab. You can just let that load up. And right now, this is scene 2. So if I press play, you can see. Oops. Press play.
Atlanta.
Cool. And there go the project. You can preview it that way. Now let's add some videos to this. You can add a YouTube video to your project. So let's scroll down and let's use this scene 5. And if you remember from my video, I added a video and I added some links to Yaya Han's website, her website. Well, let's scroll all the way out so you can see. Let's activate the timeline. Was already activated. If I scroll through right here, I added a video, a YouTube video, and I added links to her Facebook, her Instagram, her Twitter, a YouTube page, and her website. So I highly recommend you guys using this if you want to promote yourself or your business. Now to add a YouTube video, all you want to do is select the Create Video button, and then you want to copy and paste the URL. Now to do that, let's copy, go to this page. Okay, cool. Now I want this video on my project. To get this video, just go to YouTube and go to share. Then you want to copy the link. You want to go back to your project, and then you want to copy and paste it right here. Then you want to press load. That will load up the video. From here, you can crop the video time. Now, the video time was about 4 minutes. And again, you only have 30 seconds. So you only have 30 seconds in each scene. So just be aware. So I cropped this out. I believe this was about 15 seconds. And you can preview the video right here. You change the volume and you can adjust the music, well, the background music. Now, let me scroll through the timeline and hear the video. So you press stop. And press, and you can see the video. There. Okay. Now, what if I have background music and I just want the music to play throughout the whole project, and I don't want the sound from the video I want the sound from the video to be muted. To do that, you can go to the last section and add background music. Now, it doesn't matter wherever if your timeline is at 11.1 or at the beginning. If you select a background music, it will be automatically added towards the beginning. So just keep that in mind. Now, you can upload an MP3 or a WAV or OGG file, and the max size is 6 megabytes, right? Or you can choose from a collection of pre-made background music that CLA Animator provides. For the Atlanta Comic-Con video, I use, just in case you're wondering, the Rock and Riff music. So if I wanted that, you can preview this, or if you're satisfied with this music, you can select that. So just click it once and let that load, and now it's added. Okay, cool. Now going back towards the video, here we go. Now I want the background music to play all the way through with no sound. To do that, I'll turn the volume all the way down, and I'll have to uncheck this box, and then click apply. And then from here, you should only hear, let me stop this, the background music. Okay, now what if I wanted the background music to play, but I wanted the background music to fade out, and then I wanted the video sound to come up? So if I wanted that to happen, select the video, turn this all the way up. I want to check this video automatically adjust background music volume, then click apply. When I do that, the background music will fade out and then the video sound, you'll be able to hear the video sound. So let's press stop. Let me move this. Let me deactivate the timeline so you can see more of the screen. Or press play. Okay, so just keep in mind if you want to use that type of technique, just keep in mind the time of the video and the music, especially if you're using custom music. And if you want to edit the background music, just select the background settings button and you'll see the music name right here, and you can delete that music. You can have it loop or play once, so you can have it loop throughout the whole video, or you just have the song play once throughout the whole video. And you can adjust the volume from here. And you can add a background. Again, right now the background is yellow. If you want an image for the background, you can choose from a color, a picture, or a particular texture. Now, when you're done creating this project and everything is all nice, you got your 5 scenes, you got your comic guest, your celebrity guest, you got your intro scene. If you want that, you want to save your project. Again, create the project name. If you want to change the thumbnail, you can change the thumbnail. You can save that, or you can publish it. Now, let me save this first. Now, you can publish it right here by pressing the publish button. Or if you go back to your project page, so if I hover over the menu button, you go to my project. You can see the updated version of the project that we were working on. You can edit the name again, and here you have some options. Well, right here, it's set to public. If I want to set that to private, where only I can see it, I would just click on the lock button. But right now, it's set to public, so anybody can see it. And right now, we just updated. If I want to make the updates from this project right now, just select this button, let that load up, and then everything will be updated. All the changes, all the text and images will be updated. And here are the last options from your projects. You can download this project, you can select Cowork, you can share it, and you have project options. Right here, you can add a thumbnail. So if you have a thumbnail or you have an image or a picture from your phone or laptop, you can upload it from there. You can delete this whole project, or you can duplicate it. Now, with Cloud Animator, you have 3 different plans. The first is a free version, so I highly recommend you guys to use the free version of Cloud Animator just to give it a try. You can create 5 projects, and I'm pretty sure you can make some cool presentations with that. The second is Advanced, which gives you a little bit more options, a little bit more projects you can create. And the last is Business. Now, with the business plan, you can download and you can use Cowork. If you want to download a project, so let's say, for instance, if you're given a keynote or you're given a speech and you want to use this project and you don't have any Wi-Fi in that building, you can download the project and you can view the project and the video straight from your laptop or your desktop. And with Cowork, if I select Cowork, let's say if I have a team or if I'm working with a company and I want them to see my updates and I want them to even add some changes themselves, I can select the Cowork button, then I can copy and paste the link. Right now it's set to public so anybody can see it. If I want to set to private, I can select this and only certain people can see it. And if I want certain people to see it, I can just add the email address right here. And once I have everybody who I want to see, I'll just press done. And you can see that the Cowork is activated by the chain link. You can see, let's say this one. This is not, I'm not sharing this project, so it's not linked. But this one, you can see it's linked. So people can, so if I'm working with a small crew, they can view and edit this project themselves. Now let's share this project. To share your project, you want to click on the share button. And from here, again, this is just a little final prep before you share this with the world. you can see the thumbnail that you selected. You have the project name, and you have two options. You have the share URL, and then you have the embed code. If you want to share this URL, so this project URL, Cloud Animator provides you a pre-made URL link that you can copy and paste, and you can paste this and post this on your Facebook, your Twitter. You can paste it as an email. You can send it as a text, and people can view it from there. And you want to add a description. So right now we have webinar. And if I'm satisfied with this description, just click away. Oh, satisfied with this, press enter. Enter, click away. And now it's save. Oops. All right, cool. Now it's safe. Just click away and it'll be safe. Now, if you're a coder and you have a website and you want to embed this project into your website, just click on the embed code. You want to highlight, copy and paste this iframe tag, and then you can change the embed size to any size and you can customize it. You can embed this straight from your website. And if you're a coder, you can even download the project, but you got to have the business plan. You can download this project and you can further code and change the project through code. And I believe that's it for this Cloud Animator webinar. I gave you a lot of value, hopefully a lot of tips and tricks you can use to create a project. Hopefully you guys can create a project today. And I'm looking forward for your questions and we have answers. So with that, I'll give it over to Kai.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Cameron. Yeah, it was a really good webinar. And we're going to have a Q&A session right now. So for anyone who has any questions for Cameron or myself, you can put those in the Q&A little window there. I want to mention as well that we are recording this. So if you missed anything or if you want to go back and review it on your own time, we're going to be sending you guys out a video link for this webinar as well that you can just take a look at on your own time as well. Okay, so yeah, good timing. I think we're just right on time here. We might actually not go over time on this webinar for once. So
cool.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. So first question here is from Jeremy. And Jeremy Lerner asks, compared with Camtasia, what are the advantages and disadvantages of Cloud Animator? I guess I can tell you a little bit about that myself because I actually use Camtasia for recording videos and stuff like that. To be honest, Camtasia is more like a video editing software. It's kind of like a Adobe Premiere Lite. It's not really, doesn't really have all the features of Adobe Premiere, and it's probably like 20% of the price maybe. But it also is very different from Cloud Animator as well, in that Cloud Animator, we just launched this a little while ago, and we're going to be constantly, adding new stuff to Cloud Animator as well. The good thing about having Reallusion backing this software is we have a whole ton of resources available, like props, characters, environments, and all this stuff that you can import into your Cloud Animator project from Crazy Talk Animator, the software. So there's tons more content. I'd say that's the biggest advantage for Cloud Animator. Like I mentioned, Camtasia is more focused on video editing. You can do transitions and stuff like that and add some certain features to your videos. I don't know, Cameron, did you want to add anything onto that? Or?
Yeah, I definitely want to add about again, I use iClone and I use Crazy Talk Animator 3. So with iClone, they have a new product called Popcorn Effects. So you can save those projects or those files as a GIF. And with Crazy Talk Animator 3, they have a new product, I believe it's the transitions. And you can import that. So if you want to add if you want to have a cool transition from one scene to another, I highly recommend you using that. So that's the cool thing with Reallusion. Everything that they produce as far as the software you can use with other softwares. So I love that connection. And yeah, it's so much you can do. You just want to, I highly recommend you go to the pricing tab right here and try the free version and just play around with it. You'll be surprised what you can create.
Yeah, definitely. There's no harm in actually just downloading the free version and messing around, right? So I think, let's go to the next one here. Nancy Horn asks, how much better is this than, say, PowerPoint? Oh, Cameron, maybe you.
Yeah, I can take this. So yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so the difference between PowerPoint, I believe PowerPoint you can add videos, you can add images and text and whatnot. I believe that's just the basic. With Cloud Animator, you can import different, like we said before, you can import different files from Crazy Talk Animator or iClone if you have those softwares. Or if you just have Cloud Animator, you can add text and you can add a phone link to the project. And I just came up with this idea. What if you're given a speech or a PowerPoint presentation? And what if you want to give everybody that's in the audience the file so they can go along with it? Because let's say you're giving a presentation and somebody might miss a slide. They're not going to go back to it because you're like the presenter's time and you don't have the files, or you may have the files. But the cool thing with Cloud Animator is it's very interactive and you can go along with the presenter and you can go back. And I want to show you, so right here, if you're on a project, you can see, let me get rid of this. You can see this 4 boxes. So if I select that, you can go to each scene. And if I select that, it'll go to that scene. So that's one cool thing with Cloud Animator. That's the difference between PowerPoint. Kyle, you have something else?
Yeah, I think I can just, add on to that a little bit. It's just basically the interactivity. PowerPoint has definitely improved a lot since back in the dinosaur age when I was in high school and stuff like that. But I think the one thing that Cloud Animator brings to the table is the interactivity. And again, I mean, that's one of the main words on the website there, interactive media, and also just the sheer amount of content that you can use, that you can bring in easily from any other Reallusion software as well. You can do a lot of fancy stuff with PowerPoint and stuff, but personally my own PowerPoints tend to be a little bit basic, but right. I know there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, but definitely the interactive element is one thing that Cloud Animator has an advantage in, and the sheer amount of content I get, in my opinion. All right, so let's go to the next one here from anonymous attendee. This has probably been asked, but I came in late. Is this webinar training being recorded? And if so, how soon before it's released? Yes, Mr. Anonymous or Mrs. Anonymous or Miss Anonymous, we are recording this. The webinar is being recorded right now, so we'll send it out to you within the next 24 hours. That's what we normally say. It's always within the next 24 hours, so no worries about that. You can review everything else on your own time. All right, let's go to the next one here. Nancy asks another question. What happens to the content if your account is no longer active? So I got an answer for this one here. I recently just asked one of the developers of Cloud Animator. Basically, you can still open the project, but you just won't be able to edit that project until you buy the correct membership. So for example, if you have an advanced membership and save the project, 1 year later you come back, for some reason you want to edit that project another year later, you can't edit or save it until you restore that membership. So also for the business features and the Cowork and the download features, you can't use these two features until you're back to the business plan as well there.
Right. And as well as with the business plan, you can customize the logo. And while I was working on a project, you can upload a YouTube video, but let's say if you had a video on your desktop, you can, with the business plan, you can replace that YouTube video with a MPEG-4 file or video, MPEG-4 file. Well, yeah, and to do that, just click on the Learn button, and it'll take you to the Learning Center. And you can go to the Advanced Business Plan question, and it'll tell you how to replace a YouTube video with a MP4.
Cool. Yeah, I think that should answer that question for you, Nancy. If not, then just feel free to put in another question in the Q&A panel there. Okay, so that's another question from Mr. Anonymous there. And hopefully we answered that already. Okay, so James asks, what lets the viewer know an object is a link or not?
Okay, I can answer that. Yeah, sure. So again, when you're working on a project, you can add a shape or you can add an image or you can add text, and all those can be links. Now, when you're playing the video game, at the beginning, there's a icon more like a hand. And if see with this, if you see the cloud animator right here, you can see the hand little image right here. If you add a hand image and have it pointing to an object or a text or a shape or whatever, you can kind of let that viewer know like, hey, you might want to click on this. Or again, with Cloud Animator, you can add some type of motion. So you can add a emphasis motion effect, and you can have that particular object loop a motion, and that kind of can tell the viewer to say, hey, you might want to select or click on this link. So that's one way you can tell, or you can show a viewer that this is a link.
So yeah, well, obviously when you're mousing over any sort of link, your cursor is going to change to the little finger thing there to indicate a link. What about within the actual Cloud Animator when you're in the editor?
When you're an editor,
yeah.
Explain that again. What do you mean?
So like when you're actually in the editor, like when you're editing your project, I guess.
Oh, okay. So you won't be able to see that. So if I go to start now, and let's go back to this webinar project. If you're creating the project, you will know because you set that particular object to a link.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to preview that, you can preview this by pressing Control Space or click on that button, and it'll take you to the preview page. And from here, you'll be able to hover over that button, and you can see it. You can see a link. So this will be a link to Google Maps. If I select that, it'll take me to the Google Maps page. So that's how you can view. You won't be able. So let's say I'm on this scene, and okay. So you won't be able to see it, the effect.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're familiar in the game, unless you actually play the game, as far as okay, you're coding it, and you won't be able to see the mouse over effect. But if you press play, and it'll take you to the preview, then you'll be able to see the hover over effect.
Okay.
So just keep that. Yeah. So you just have to preview that particular scene to see the motion, to see the link.
Okay, great. So hopefully that answers that question for you there, James. So another attendee asks, how do you select multiple objects and align them? Can we do that in Cloud Animator here?
Select multiple objects. No, I'm afraid you won't be able to select multiple objects and align them. So if I have, so you can see all these different objects that's inside the scene. I want to activate the timeline. And from here, I can see all the tracks that's inside it. But unlike iClone or Crazy Talk, you can't just select each one. You have to select just one by one. So yeah, to answer your question is no, you can't select multiple objects.
All right, so yeah, that's probably going to be improved.
Added feature.
Definitely, yeah. Right now, we just basically released this really recently, and we're on version 1 right now. But that's a very basic, thing that we can do to add more value to Crazy Talk or to Cloud Animator. There, basically anything you can see in Crazy Talk Animator, or Crazy Talk Animator in this case, will probably be implemented in some way or form into Cloud Animator in the near future there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. All right, so let's go to the next one here. All right, so can we upload our own media, and can we change the shape opacity?
Yes, so let's go to scene 2. If I want to add, again, let me show you Atlanta. If I go to Atlanta Comic-Con page, you can see the Atlanta Comic-Con logo. This is an image. And what I did was I right-clicked it and I saved as. Or some images you won't be able to save. So for right here, I did the little screenshot and then I saved it into Photoshop. And then from there, I uploaded it. So if you want to upload an image or a shape, or if you want to upload an image, select the image button. Then from there, you can upload. Okay. And then whatever you upload, it will be saved into your customs folder. So from here, I had Atlanta. If you want to use that, just select that, and then you can use that. And if you want to change the opacity, there's different options. Right now, this is an image, so I have 3 options. And if you go to the first option, transform, you can go to opacity, and you can change that opacity. And just to keep in mind, this is an image, and this has 3 different options. But if I select the text, then I have 4 different options. As well with a shape, you can add text to a shape. So right now I have the shape selected. You can add text. So you type in hello. You can change the color, change the font size. Now, just keep in mind with the difference between a shape and an image. The shape, you can add text. So we can change the text position. So I'll move it left and right, up and down. Now, let's say if I want to increase the shape size. If I do that, I select the little corner of the shape, and I can increase that. But if you see that, you can see the text increase with that. If I just want the shape to increase and leave the text as is, so keep the text at the same size, I'll continue to scroll down on the shape settings. And from here, you can change the shape. So from there, you can change that without messing up the text. But with an image, you won't be able to add text. So just keep that in mind. For an image, you can't add text on top of it. With a shape, you can add text. Hopefully that answers your question.
All right. Yeah, I think that's good for that question. Let's move on to the next one here, which is from another anonymous attendee. We got a lot of anonymous attendees here, or maybe it's just one guy. Can you embed into an email so that the interactive video can be played from within the email? That's part 1 of his question there. What are your thoughts on that?
Can you embed into an email so you can play within the email? Yeah, so what I did, if I'm working with a business or with a client and I want to send this project through an email, I would just copy and paste the email. So let's do I have image? Let me go to my project. So when you go to the share button, the share feature, Cloud Animator gives you a link you can use. So if I go to share, I copy and paste this link. And if I send it as an email, so what you want to do is copy and paste this, then copy and paste it into the email. And then from there, the video will automatically show. So within the email, you'll see a thumbnail and you'll see a link to your project. And from there, from there, you can have a little description right here. And then there'll be a thumbnail that's inside the email. And then if you're receiving an email with a Cloud Animator project, you'll be able to see the thumbnail. You can click on that. And then from there, you can view the project.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. Right. The next part of his question there was asking about importing in animations from CTA3.
Right. So if you create a GIF animation or I believe GIF animation with Crazy Talk Animator 3, you have the option to save a motion. So let's say you have a human or Crazy Talk Animator 3 character. You created some animation and you save that animation as a GIF. You can simply and I believe Kai, there's a tutorial on that on how you can do that. Again, you can go to the Learning Center and it'll explain that. But
you mean a CTA3 tutorial?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, probably. I've done so many of those, I kind of forgot.
On the homepage. But again, if you create a GIF animation, you can save that and you can drag and drop that. I don't want to open Crazy Talk Animator and go through all that, but there's a tutorial on how you can do that. But there's a button that you press and it'll automatically put it inside the project that you're working on. or you can just save that GIF animation, and then you can go into custom, and it'll be in your custom folder. You can just click on that, and it'll be sent there to your project.
Okay, I'm just going to put a link for the Learning Center for CTA3 in the chat window in case anyone is interested here. Okay, so yeah, I think that's, and we had another user who commented on maybe doing a webinar in the future on, just specifically on importing in CTA3 content into Cloud Animator, and I think that's actually a good idea. Maybe we might bring Cameron back for that as well.
I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah. All right, so next one here is, how does it compare to Powtoon, which I've never actually used. Have you used anything called Powtoon before?
It's my first time hearing it. I think this is completely different. I don't know what that is, so I can't give an answer, but I believe that's the animation software, and I think Crazy Talk Animator 3 may be similar to that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. I've never really, I know there's Toon Boom, but I've never heard of Powtoon before. But so,
yeah,
I don't think either of us can really compare accurately. But one of our developers mentioned we have a little connection between Crazy Talk 3 and Cloud Animator that basically we don't have with Powtoon, I guess. So, but again, I can't really comment on the usability of that particular software.
If we could answer that, like you just said, you can import files from Crazy Talk Animator 3, so that can be one comparison.
Yeah, we got a lot of questions here. Another question from John asking, John Minos, can we do a webinar on how to use CTA3 stuff in Cloud Animator? That was the one I was talking about earlier. So we can probably bring Cameron back for that in the future. How do you import it as a movie? Not sure what you mean by import it as a movie. I just got notified that we are going to offer MP4 export capability as well. But as far as, maybe you can elaborate a little bit on that, John, what do you mean by import it as a movie? So we'll just move on to the next question for now. But if you want more elaboration on that, then just put another question there at the end there, John. Another question asking, will it be possible to download or share as video in future versions? And I think I just kind of answered that. We will be offering the MP4 export capability. I just confirmed that. And I also confirmed, by the way, earlier the multiple select thing and the align thing. Those will be added in the near future as well. I just confirmed that with the development team for the previous question there. So I think that answers that question. Okay. Question from Subdiacon asking, will there be interaction with the figures in the scenes, such as with the mouse and the keyboard? I can't really comment on that. What are your thoughts on that, Cameron?
Well, as far as interaction, I believe they're talking about if I'm hover over in a particular figure, so I guess like that GIF animation, you want to have that as a link.
I'm thinking maybe like the characters, something like, click here or something like that, and pointing to the link, and then you can click it. So that's a form of interaction, I guess. I'm not sure. Sorry, go ahead.
It says interaction with the figures, so I'm guessing if you want some interaction with this and you want to make this a link, you can add a link to that. If that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways you can interact with, have your viewers, whatever, interact with the character on screen. So,
okay.
If you have any further questions, more specific questions about that, and then we can feel free to ask that to Subdiacon there. Question from Judy: another difference between PowerPoint and Cloud Animator is Reallusion brings a lot of fun. Yay! That's
very true.
It's more of a comment question, but thanks for that, Judy. Okay, and Nancy asks, can you still share it? Yeah, we can definitely share everything with Cloud Animator. I think that should be pretty straightforward. Alan Marquez asks, could you elaborate on the SMS feature? Did Cameron state that the SMS link to work, you have to be viewing the presentation on a suitable phone? I'm not sure about that one. Do you know anything about that, Cameron?
I believe that person's asking if you can, I guess, call somebody on your laptop, which I don't think you can do that unless you have an app for that. But if you want to text or call somebody from your phone straight from the video, you can do that. But as far as, yeah, you have to use the phone to use the phone feature. So the text and the SMS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't used the SMS feature at all myself. Have you messed around with that at all?
Yes, I have. So if I created an open house for a school, and at the end, I made it a contact page, and I had a link to, well, I had text, and I had the number, and I had a little animation saying, hey, point or call now. And if somebody select that button on their phone, they can call or text straight from their phone.
Yeah, so I think, Alan, to answer your question there, if it's part of your presentation, if you have that SMS link on your phone and you're using a suitable, like a smartphone, you can probably just, press that link, the SMS link, and your phone should take you to the text or call feature to continue on.
Yeah. It'll take you straight to your call feature in the call menu.
Cool. All right. Comment from Lenovo Tab 2 I'm not anonymous, but my name won't show. You're actually not the anonymous one. There's someone called Lenovo Tab 2, but I can see your name is Lenovo Tab 2. But there's also another anonymous attendee. Anyways, okay, we'll continue on. With the business plan, you can download the interactive file. Is the download file in HTML5 format or MPEG-4?
Okay, so if you go to the Learning Center, which one is it? So it's this one. You go to Learning Center, you go into Learn, you scroll all the way down. Now this is this is a business plan question. So you want to go to business plan and you want to download your project. And from there, it'll show you how to do all that. And it's pretty straightforward. There's a tutorial, and then there's some images you can just follow through. So you'll download the project, and it'll be a zip file. So you want to unzip that, and then from there, you'll have all the contents that's inside that project. So you have the content, you have the video file, you have the index. Now the index right here is the file to your project. So if you don't have no Wi-Fi, you will select the index file. And then from there, you can be able to view the project straight from your local computer.
Yeah, so currently it's HTML5 format, but in the future we'll offer other formats as well, so including the MPEG-4.
So again, there's a tutorial for that, and then there's also some more information on how to download and use your project offline. Okay.
And I want to elaborate on the future. I mentioned the future export of MPEG-4. It'll be just the video, not interactive at this time. Okay, so currently you export to HTML5 format, but in the future we're going to offer the MPEG-4 video format, but it won't be interactive video at this point. So just keep that in mind. Another question from Robin Julian asking, can a scene be thought of like a slide in PowerPoint? I think
sure.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing, different name, basically.
Yeah, okay. I think that's pretty straightforward. You can call it whatever you want, really, but
yeah, and you can name the scene, so that's more accurate.
Yeah, you can name the slide, I guess. Yeah. Each scene, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so Nancy asks, can you import a clip from Crazy Talk 8?
I believe I believe there's two ways. I think if you create a clip using Crazy Talk 8, you can save it as as a video or an image sequence. I don't know if you can do it as a GIF, but if you can save it as a GIF, then yes, you can import that clip. However, if you want to go the long way, I would say you can create that clip, but you have to have the business plan. You'll create that clip from Crazy Talk 8, and then you can import that video clip using the business plan. So again, you don't have to.
I just want to interject that you can export from CT8 as a GIF. So.
Okay, cool. Well, then that's straightforward. And again, with Reallusion, you can use multiple softwares and programs with one another, sort of kind of like they're talking to each other. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yes, you can do that.
Cool. All right. That answers your question there, Nancy. Next question is from John. What if we make a stellar scene in Cloud Animator? Can that be imported to Crazy Talk Animator 3? Let's see. You would export that currently. You wouldn't be able to do that currently, right? In the future, would be you'd do it in MPEG-4 video format.
Right. So yeah, you have an MP4 file, and then you can save your project as MP4 file, and then import that into Crazy Talk Animator 3.
Yeah, you can import that into CTA3 as a prop or a billboard or an image layer or anything that you want, really. But I think the likelihood of you making a stellar scene is probably a lot higher in Crazy Talk Animator 3 than the other way around. But yeah, if you end up doing that in the future, yeah, near future, we're going to offer the MPEG-4 export capability. So that would be the only option for you at this point, John. Let's see here. Will it be possible to download or share as video in future versions? Yeah, I think I answered that in the MPEG-4. So it seems like there's a lot of demand for video export, obviously, here. So that's probably one of the most important features on our agenda. I can confirm that. Let's see here. A question from Michael asking, is there a handwriting tool or template? I'll hand that one over to you. Maybe you have a bit more experience with that. I don't think there is.
A handwriting tool? What do you mean by that? As far as
maybe font selection, but currently we don't have a handwriting tool. But perhaps a font, like a handwriting font.
Okay, here's a key thing, a little tip. If you don't like a font that's inside Crazy Talk Animator 3, and if you're familiar with downloading fonts, so you can go to thefont.com, you can download that font from that site, and then you can take it into a photo editing software, so GIMP for free or Photoshop, and you can type in that text, delete the background, and then save that as PNG, and that will be an image. And then you can import that, or you can upload that image, which really was font inside Cloud Animator, and you can, I guess, import custom handwriting that way. I hope that explains your.
Yeah, I mean, you could import the handwriting as an image, I guess. But we also do have some fonts that are similar to handwriting, but maybe we'll probably expand that in the future as well. For now, that's what Cameron mentioned. I think importing in the image of text is probably your best option if you want to use your own particular font. So we'll go to the next one here from Gregory. With the business plan, will I be able to have more than one video in the same scene?
Sure.
Yeah, I believe that's possible, right? Shouldn't be a problem.
Let's see. So right now we have this one.
I don't believe two videos in the same scene.
That's not an option.
Only one video in the scene at a time.
Okay.
So we may expand on that in the future, but as of the version 1 we just released here, only one video per scene at this time. All right. We'll go to the next one here. Even if you cannot edit projects with an inactive account, are the share links still active? I believe they should be. Yes. Confirm that. Yes, they are. They're still active. You just can't edit them. So
right.
Even if you're not don't have your account up to date, you can still have the links be active to share with people and stuff. Another attendee asks, can we upload our own videos and photos?
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
Well, the key thing is you can upload photos, but you can upload videos from YouTube, but if you want your own video, you need the business plan to do that.
Good point. Okay. So yeah, if you want your own videos to upload, you have to have the business plan. Otherwise, you're kind of restricted to YouTube videos.
Right.
Which isn't bad.
And again, it really doesn't matter because you can upload your video to YouTube and get it that way. So you have multiple options.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think another question from Valeria Cora that I can answer because we've kind of already answered this. Will it be possible to download or share as a video in future versions? Yep, definitely. That's in the future. We're going to like I mentioned, the MPEG-4 export format will be allowed to share that in future versions. But keep in mind that it's not the interactive video, it's just the video itself. All right. Okay, yeah, someone here mentioned that who has used Powtoon that says Powtoon has no interactivity. That's probably the biggest difference. With someone who has used Powtoon is mentioning to us here. Anonymous attendee, I'm not sure who that is. Girl Anonymous, she says. All right. Okay, another anonymous attendee says Powtoon uses PowerPoint slides and is great for education. Okay, good to know. Yeah. I'll have to look up this Powtoon after I finish this webinar here.
Yes.
Okay, so Ken mentions, can you please provide a link for the CTA3 Learning Center? I believe I put that link in the chat window. Let me just double check here. Oh, I sent to the wrong person. Okay, there we go. All panelists and attendees should now see that CTA3 Learning Center link there. I sent it to someone privately accidentally. Okay, so Cameron said earlier that you have to export CTA3 as a GIF, from CTA3 as a GIF. How does that work with transitions? You can't import Crazy Talk Animator 3 as a native C actor file. So the transitions from Crazy Talk Animator 3 into Cloud Animator, that would just be simply importing the actual transition CT prop file, correct?
I believe so. I haven't purchased the transition package yet, but
I believe if you're importing in a prop, basically.
Yeah, you're basically doing that. So,
yeah. How for the actors, when you import in a CTA3 actor, can you do that?
Can you import an actor? Of course.
Yeah.
So, if you want to import an actor, you want to, in Crazy Talk Animator 3, you want to add the actor to your stage. Then you want to add some animation or whatever you want to that actor. Then you want to save it as a GIF. And then you can import that GIF into Crazy Talk Animator 3. And again, Cloud Animator provides you with a ton of animated GIFs from Crazy Talk Animator. So if you click on this one, you can view and preview some animations. And here is Crazy Talk Animator 3, and you can see the characters. These are Crazy Talk Animator 3 characters.
No, so yes, I think what John is mentioning, so you mentioned those are the CTA3 characters. They're not, what's the format of the file? I'm kind of curious because actually I don't really know.
On this, on Cloud Animator?
Yeah. So those are actually GIFs, is that correct?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, so they're not Crazy Talk actor files. Those are actually just GIFs.
No, okay, yeah. These are just GIFs, images. You can't import a character.
Okay,
or an actor.
Not yet, anyways.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something that will be in the works for sure. Because we're probably, I mean, like I mentioned, our main goal is to increase the interactivity in this program as much as we can, and as well, like enhance the pipeline between Crazy Talk Animator 3 and bringing in any format into Cloud Animator. That's kind of the end goal here. So it's just a matter of time at this point. Okay, so here's a good question. Are there size constraints, pixel width and height for import, and what is the export size? So the export size here is HTML5, it's 1080p. Okay, so that's your export size for the video, HTML5 format, it's 1080p. Size constraints for import. I don't know that there are any. I mean, you're not going to try and import in super high res video for these presentations. I don't think you really need to do that for this type of project. But I don't think there is any size constraints on import that I know of. I mean, the higher the resolution, it might make your project lag a little bit more, or might go a little bit slower. But you know, you're doing a cloud animator project. You're not doing a Hollywood blockbuster movie, so you can normally keep your size constraints or your width and height to about 1080p, I think. That's what I'd recommend. Maybe 4K if you want. All right. So, okay, I do have a comment here from the developers. The maximum image size for JPEG, PNG, and SVG is 6 megabytes. So any resolutions, okay, so anything more than 1080p will be scaled down to 1080p, okay? So 1080p in this case will be the maximum resolution for you guys. That's 1920 by 1080 pixels. And the formats supported are PNG, JPEG, SVG, and GIF currently. All right. Thank goodness we have Corey behind the scenes answering these questions. Corey is one of the developers in Crazy Talk, Cloud Animator. Okay, so another anonymous attendee asks, can you touch on the hosting option in the business plan? You want to take that?
Sure. So if you click on the Learn button, and it'll take you to the Learning Center, you can select the host a download project in your own on your own server. And if you select this, it'll go more in depth on how you can host from your own server. And you can just scroll down, and it's pretty straightforward. And
yeah, that's
if you're, I'm pretty sure if you want to host and you know a little bit about code, you'll go into the, if you're using the HTML editor, you can go into the code, because this application is an HTML file, so it has code, so you can edit that code, and from there you can change the relative and absolute paths. So there's a lot of anything that you need to know about hosting a downloaded project. Just go to Learn and go to the Advanced or the Business Plan option and select Host a Download Project in my own server. And that should answer your question.
All right, man. We have a lot of questions here. I'm surprised.
Yeah,
a lot of interest in that Cloud Animator. Okay, so a couple of good stuff. A couple of quick questions I can answer here from a couple of anonymous attendees. Is the MP4 file interactive in the future? No, it won't be interactive at this point. So we do want to get the MP4 capability as fast as we can, but it won't be interactive at this point. But we can probably consider that for the future. Again, any recommendations you guys have for future developments for Cloud Animator? We'd love to hear your feedback. I mean, we literally developed the software based on customer user feedback. So we highly encourage you to provide that for us. We're going to be sending out that survey, like I mentioned. So feel free to put any feature requests in that survey, and also get your 20% off on the business plan as well. But yeah. Okay. So, all right. So a couple people mentioned about the handwriting in handwriting request. Yeah, that's probably something we can look to in the future. It looks like you can handwrite in Powtoon right now, but that's something that we'll definitely look at in the future because we want to be the best. So, all right.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so the Powtoon apparently has a pretty decent looking handwriting tool within the software there. Okay, yeah, so John, John elaborated on his question there. We can't animate a custom character currently in Cloud Animator. So all of the animated characters, all the animations that you see in that Cloud Animator library, those are just GIFs exported from Crazy Talk Animator at this point. Okay,
Right.
so if you don't have Crazy Talk Animator, you'll be stuck with the GIFs that we have here, or we may offer other content packs in the future. I'm pretty sure we will that provide you with a lot more animations and character options. But if you wanted, if you're up for the challenge and you want to custom create your own animations, pop on over and pick up Crazy Talk Animator 3, and that'll give you all the freedom you need to import it at GIF format at this point. But hopefully we'll be working on getting that more comprehensive in the future. All right, I think we're on the last question here. Gregory, regarding the business plan, when I share the project, will the Cloud Animator name appear?
Right. So that's a customize your logo question. So again, if you go to the Learning Center and go to Advanced Business Plan, the last question is how to customize logo and logo link. And I had this question before, and if you wanted to know how to do that, so when you're viewing a project, I believe he's talking about this right here.
Yeah, I think
If you want to change that, you need the business plan. Very affordable. I highly recommend you purchasing that. And from there, you can go inside the content, and then you go into images, and then right here, you could replace the logos. So if you scroll down, if you had a custom image, and this is a PNG, you can just, well, right now, the logo, the Cloud Animator logo, this one right here, I believe that's a SVG. Yeah, so it's an SVG file. If you have a different file, you can just easily change the name. So this is a PNG. And again, if you have a HTML editor, there's some free ones you can use. You want to go into the settings and go into the JavaScript, and you can just edit you can swap out the Cloud Animator logo with your own, and then you'll be able to add your own logo right there. So if you have a company or a business and you want your image to be right here, and if someone hover over this, the image will change, and it could be a link, so it could be linked to your website or an email, so you can have that mouse hover effect. So yeah, just go to the Learning Center, and you can have your question answered inside the bit.
Okay, I think that's good. He mentions as well, I mean, when I share on Facebook, there's a link that appears that says Cloud Animator.
Right.
I'm not sure. I mean, the URL obviously will have Cloud Animator in it, right?
Right, it will.
Itself. I'm not sure what the thumbnail that appears will show, but I don't think you can customize your thumbnail, right? So I think you can, with the business plan, you can just customize whatever thumbnail you want. I don't think it'll show Cloud Animator. So if you totally want to like unbrand your link, your sharing link, you can do that, Gregory. Should be okay in Facebook and everything. All right. One final question here. Can these animations become searchable on Google, such as how-tos?
Do you mean like the motion effect or the?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can these animations become searchable on Google?
Do you mean the projects? Can the projects?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, if you, yes, I believe you can. If it's a link, especially if you have it on your website and it's embedded.
Yeah, it's all about your keyword searches and stuff on your website as well. I don't think that's a feature within Cloud Animator there. But yeah, that's cool. All right, I think I can't really know how to answer that one, but anything is really searchable on Google. Google knows everything about us. Beware.
Yes.
All right. I think, anyways, yeah. Okay. So James says thanks for clearing up some stuff for him. So yeah, thanks to Cameron. It was a really great presentation, and we have a lot of interest apparently in Cloud Animator. A lot of questions from you guys. So thanks for all your questions, and I think we're going to end it off there. Basically, again, make sure you check out the survey that we're going to send you guys in the YouTube or in the email link rather, and feel free to let us know because it's a new software. We're desperate for feedback from you guys, and we want to know how we can improve the software. to make it more user-friendly and more flexible for everyone who needs it. And yeah, I think, again, we're going to send out the video link for you guys. You can review on your own time. And that's about it. I'm going to just extend another thank you to Cameron for being with us. It was really great hosting the webinar with you. I guess it's a little...
Oh, man, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
A little later over there in Georgia. It's almost evening time there.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast here where it's nice and sunny still.
Ah, man, you're lucky, man. Why you got to do me like that?
It's all
but
good.
yeah, again, I appreciate the opportunity just to instruct you guys. And like I said before, I'm honored. Kai, I've been viewing and seeing a lot of tutorials that you've done with Crazy Talk Animator 3 and Icon, and this is a cool new experience for me. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I've been doing those tutorials since dinosaurs roamed the earth, it seems. All right. I guess we're just going to end it off there, guys. So go ahead and fill the survey for us, like I mentioned as well. And I'll sign off. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And we'll hope to see you again in the next webinar.
Cool. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye, guys.